Welcome to this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, the podcast we chart the cinematic legacy of the classic monsters. I'm John Campbell. With me, as always, Brendan Jones.
John, I don't think I have to tell you. I think you know that I'm all about the environment.
Yep.
I'm all about, I want us to all live more frugally, efficiently, carbon footprint. I'm all about, look, let's try to, simplify.
Indeed.
And so there's nothing more, to me, heartening than watching a movie where they took 15 minutes of plot
Yep.
and stretched it into 80 some odd minutes of film. I was really impressed. I was like, that is the kind of I think it's responsible.
I don't think
That's
you're giving them enough credit.
film.
I think they took 50 minutes of plot and split it into two 80-minute movies.
You're absolutely right, because lest we forget, this is chapter 2 of a storyline that
Yeah, because we're talking about Bloodlust, Subspecies 3. What year is this? Is this 1994?
95? Are we in 5
No,
yet?
it's 94 still.
We're
Still
still
94.
in 4.
I mean, it is wild to watch. We just did Kenneth Branagh's Frankenstein, and then this. The fact that these are contemporaries in any way, and we're talking about massive budgets, but this looks like it was shot 10 years before Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
This looks like it was shot at some point in the late 80s. So it does look like it's 5 years out of time, even for this. And then, of course, incredibly cheap.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's again them taking advantage of locations, which is still one of the only things I like about these subspecies.
But I'm starting to get tired. But it's like, man, they're the same locations.
I know. It's like Bucharest, whatever. They allowed them to shoot outside one castle.
Yeah,
like,
and you're just going like, it's that castle again. And I would say 2/3 of this movie take place right outside that castle. Like, it's just there. Because keep in mind now that when you talk about this being part 2, this was shot in conjunction with Subspecies 2. This is the end game to Subspecies 2 Infinity War.
No, I know. This is
or the Back to the Future,
to Superman 1.
Back to the Future 3 to Back to the Future Part 2.
Yep.
And this is way worse than anything we just mentioned. Yeah, it is just like, I just love the idea that apparently Subspecies was enough of a hit by Full Moon Entertainment standards that they're just like, good, we better strike while the iron's hot and just shoot 2 of these suckers.
Jesus.
And
while the iron is hot, the iron could not have been very much more than room temperature. I'm sorry, but the iron, I could put my thumb comfortably in the middle of that iron.
It was slightly warm. It was slightly warm. I don't. And does this take the story in any kind of new direction? No. It kind of just retreads the last movie, which kind of retread the first movie. Honestly, like there's not a lot of meat on the bone here in the Subspecies franchise.
All we can say is that essentially the plot of the previous one, the American gal from the very first movie has been partially turned. For some reason, Radu, who killed the handsome brother guy who she was going to hook up with, for some reason, Radu is now totally in love with her, as in, she's
when did
my
that
chosen
happen?
one.
He was like, I guess I'll keep her as a pet, basically, in the last movie.
Yeah, but now it's the great love of the century. So all it is
there's dialogue about how you're cursed with the love of her.
Yeah,
what?
Exactly. She will be your undoing. It's your love for her. Whatever the fuck. But basically, Radu loves her, and basically the Bloodstone is a prop that shows up a couple of times.
How about our
titular? Really, it's about can her sister, Melanie Shatner, can she save her sister from a life of vampirism?
If you loved Melanie Shatner, there's a lot more of her in this movie, and that's fine. I mean, she's not terrible.
Making the one facial expression that her character has.
I mean, that's what we're talking about. Like, she's not bad per se, but there's just nothing to do. I can't really get on the acting. Well, I can get on it a little bit, but I'm just saying, like, it's not like there's much material to go on here. Like we often say over on my other podcast, The Action Shelf, it's sometimes hard to judge how good anyone is because what's being asked of them is so little.
We've underlined this already, but it's terrible writing, terrible direction. The acting, even if they might have hidden talents that we don't know, they're certainly not asked for them here.
I kind of like Melanie Shatner in as much as she's kind of likable. I don't know. That's about as much as I can say.
She's cute in a way of the period. I like the short hair. It's very familiar to me of gals of the period.
Definitely.
But she's just
it's not the character. I'm just saying that I'm just like, oh yeah, I mean, when she's on screen, I'm not going, ooh, I'm just going like, okay. I think she's better than the other woman, but only slightly.
I don't know if she's any better. I think they're both about exactly the same.
And then I gotta say though, the guy who I will get on is Kevin Spirtas, who plays our beloved Mel. This guy is as dull as dull can get, and my God, we get him for the next movie, and he's in the new one they're filming right now. Because yes, folks. Oh, I'm sorry, Brendan. News since we last talked. They finished filming. They finished filming. The movie is Subspecies 5 Blood Rise is officially in post-production.
Oh,
meaning by the time we catch up to modern day, we'll get another Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord.
John, I'll be dead by then. Okay, I'm just saying.
Well, I can I just say this is the big Subspecies 5 is a little bit different. This time it's a prequel.
Wait, we're going to get young Radu like young Sheldon?
Yeah, set 500 years before Subspecies. The film will chronicle Radu's descent from noble warrior for the church to a depraved creature of the night.
So essentially, Anders Hove is just going, because he's got to be up there, right? So I assume it'll be a bookend with him going, I am dying, but let me tell you what it was like when I was young Radu. And then cut back to an entire film of
no. I'm looking at the poster, man. You wish. Here's old man Anders Hove in the Crusades night outfit as unmakeup Radu. Yeah, Radu's going to be 75 and then turned into a vampire in this. There he is with a sword in the armor, and literally the poster is his descent as the makeup starts to take over and him becoming Radu. And they're making a big deal about Anders Hove is Radu.
Jesus Christ.
This is going to be embarrassing whenever we get to watch this thing.
As opposed to the rest. Yeah,
I know.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. Anders Hove is, what is he, 60? By the time this comes out, he'll be 67 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And telling the origin of Radu.
Jesus, they didn't recast and give the part to a younger guy.
Nope. It's Anders Hove from start to finish in this thing.
We really are living in a golden age.
We really, I mean, I will say this, it shows you how much nostalgia plays in stuff that it's even gotten to the full moon level that they're going, you know what, let's give people what they've always wanted, the story of Radu. And we all imagined him as a man in his late 60s when he became a vampire, right?
Are they going to have Stefan as well, the younger brother? They have to if it's a prequel.
I think that's the idea here. They don't have, there's several people that aren't credited with characters yet. The interesting thing, though, is
I'm going to need you to put huge air quotes around interesting.
Well, it's the notable thing
okay. All right.
is that Kevin Spirtas, who plays Mel, of course, in these movies, Mel would not be a character in this, but don't worry, he's still in it. He's playing young Prince Vladislav.
Oh, the dad.
Who will be the father, but he is now playing, so...
Wow,
a man many probably a couple decades younger than Anders Hove is going to play the father.
Is that something that he should be happy about that someone decided, man, you'd be an awesome young Angus Scrimm. Oh my god.
Oh man, that's gonna be a train wreck. So stay tuned for that, I guess, folks, because that'll be that's scheduled for release 2023, and they are editing
That'll
now.
be down the line.
That will be down the line, and don't worry though, there's still another one of these things after this. We still gotta watch fucking Subspecies 4. By the way, you talk about the Bloodstone is barely part of this. I got through this whole movie going, I guess we're just not doing the Subspecies anymore, and then
I know, but I gotta say that got me. Right at the end.
They snuck them in, man, like the minions of the Despicable Me franchise. Here they come.
If only they did talk in gibberish.
Yeah.
That would be the best.
Well,
wow.
Like well, let's talk about the poster, right?
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, it's the same old shit. It looks like we talk about this. Every full moon movie has, you know it instantly. I don't even have to see the full moon logo.
It is weirdly just a style, and the style is bright neon lighting.
Yeah, it is. And we've got, I mean, we've got, obviously, the bulk of the poster is Radu's face, because come on, man, they know that's the moneymaker.
I would say it's his fingers are the moneymaker, but sure, I'll take the
big face, Radu, and he's all in blue, making up the background, but he's got this red glow in his eyes for some reason.
Yep. Because he's evil.
Yeah. And then there's a woman. Is this either of our leading ladies?
No.
It's just a woman.
It's a woman, but that doesn't look like Denise Duff, who is our main lady.
And it doesn't look like Melanie Shatner either.
No, and it's very airbrushy photoshopped in, so they took I guess a photo of a lady laying on top of something, and then they created it to look like this sort of mausoleum stone.
Yeah, and she's draped in a very gauzy, white. So it's very Hammer in that way.
Oh yeah, and then you see some Subspecies guys looking about as good as they do in the movies, which is not great.
And they're still pretending they're part of this franchise. And
they're looking around going, hey, are we in this?
Yeah.
Hey,
do you guys? Hey, Charles Band, do you need us?
We're here if you. We're ready to Subspecies.
And then a very good setting of 1994 on video cassette, also available on Laserdisc.
No.
You could have watched Subspecies 3 on Laserdisc. I will say,
as I think I said before about the full moon features and all that stuff, Charles Band, when I was the video buyer a million years ago in San Francisco, and DVD had arrived, and we're getting rid of our Laserdiscs, we started just slashing the prices on Laserdisc, and you'd get collectors coming in like, oh my God, I'm getting whatever. I'm getting True Eyes for $2.
Yeah.
Something like that. But the full moon stuff was like the last to go. Literally like 50 cents.
Because nobody wants this shit.
No one wanted it. It was all Puppet Master stuff.
I feel like even if you have some interest in it, you rent this shit. I don't need this in my collection. Even if I'm getting people together and people are getting stoned and watching these, I don't need this on my shelf. I mean, especially now in today's world, I really like curate this shelf behind me of stuff. Like if I own a physical copy of something, it better be something I really care about. Otherwise,
and something you would not be embarrassed if someone walked in.
Right, I am proud to let people rifle through this library of Blu-rays behind me, that kind of thing. And so that's the thing, there's not a Subspecies movie in the bunch.
But there will be, because now that you've gotten so invested in this series,
well, I can
see you getting a box set.
Hey, thanks to the folks over at Arrow Video for putting these all on there. Once again, not a sponsor.
Hey, I just want to give a shout out to those guys over there at Arrow Video.
I mean, I do.
Full heads up.
I do love Arrow. I love their Blu-rays, and their streaming service is maybe in the running for the weirdest library of movies.
Now, should we get sponsorships from Arrow and Kino Lorber? I'm not exactly sure.
Do they compete? Well, Kino Lorber can sponsor the Kolchak thing, and
right.
Arrow will do this.
Yeah,
so
we'll keep them separate.
Yeah,
I like this.
Keep them separated.
Oh wow, you're too young to know that song. That came out when you were 3.
Probably, yeah. Can I say I do love the tagline here? Love bleeds, period. Which is
Nice.
weird. The period is kind of strange to me on that.
Also, I want to know if they're being just very vampire-centric, or is someone there a Def Leppard fan? Because that comes from a Def Leppard song.
Love bleeds. I was going to do the love bleeds. That was where I was going with it. But
Oh, I see. You mean like Love Hurts?
Love hurts, but love bleeds. Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
Oh, yeah. So that's and that's the only tagline they ever went with, because I don't think these have a lot of other releases, you know?
You know what I like about the tagline on the poster? Look, the thing is this. You either do it properly, as in it's just text, so you would have a capital at the beginning of the sentence because you have a period.
Right.
Or you do all caps because
Right.
there you go. But this weirdness of like capital L, capital B for love bleeds.
Yeah.
I'm not with that.
No,
The
I don't.
graphics brain in me is actually offended. In fact, I'm not doing this podcast, John. Gotta go.
That's it, man. I've had enough. And of course, lest we forget, I was just reminded again, we have another subspecies, but of course we also have the subspecies adjacent vampire journals coming up as well.
Right.
So we get another, which apparently...
I can't wait to see what the vampires write about.
Dear diary, today was a big day for Radu. Him trying to hold a pencil with the... God damn it. There's the one thing...
The fingies!
The
fingies, it's all about
man.
The fingies.
The fingies. Stop having him hold shit in these movies.
It's the best.
When he's stabbing the guy at the end, he's just going,
Yes.
oh, come on. He can't hold that knife. What are you doing?
When is it the skull? Oh, it's his mom's head.
Yeah.
And it's just like him not only grabbing it, picking it up, and then tossing it into the fire.
Yeah.
I was like going, I will say this, Anders Hove has worked with those
Well,
extensions.
he's
like,
3 movies in now. He's getting more comfortable with them.
Yeah, but it's just ridiculous, man.
It's so
ridiculous.
Stupid. It's
The
so
fingies.
the idea of the extended fingers on the vampire. Okay, I could imagine that being kind of creepy, but you need animatronics in those or something, right? It needs to be. It can't be that they are just stiff and he's got to hold on.
It's something like when they're transforming, and therefore it's something that it's temporary or in a certain physical state. But if we're meant to believe that this person walks around just day to day when he's in the castle, and he's like, I think I'll make some tea. Good luck, man. Well, with those big old things on you.
Can I get you some tea? It's going to be about an hour and a half.
Jeez,
I tried to manipulate.
It's going to be, and you're going to hear some noise from the kitchen. Don't worry, everything is okay.
Oh God,
it's difficult a little.
It got on me. I'm burned. Oh God, because Radu does strike me as a guy who would go, "I am burned."
I am burned.
I will say though, he is kind of the thing that keeps my attention to some extent, because Anders Hove is always at an 11 in these movies. It's not good,
no,
but he is all. It is one of those things where you're going like, dude, do you know what you're? This is so stupid.
Yeah,
but he is always like, I am Radu, and I'm sure he goes to horror conventions and he's a fucking icon to a certain subsection of the audience that are subspecies themselves.
Yeah, and as we say, it's the worst thing is if you just phone it in, and this guy is fully committed. I
think everyone is committed. I think it's just you get guys like Kevin Spiritas who just, this is what him committed looks like.
Yeah, I would say that's
actually he's just
right.
Dull,
it doesn't seem like he's bored. It's like, I'm acting as good as I can.
Yeah.
Well, that's not very good.
Well, I mean, this guy is he's still on Days of Our Lives. He's been on since 1997. And he's got that vibe. Before that, he was on. I guess in 2008 he made a brief. They swayed him over to One Life to Live. And then I do like that he was in an episode of Friends, but as his Days of Our Lives character, because Joey was on Days of Our Lives.
Right.
And so I like this, like, hey, I was on Friends. It's like, yeah, but only because they did a Days of Our Lives thing. It's like, yeah, I guess that's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, still, that's got to look good on his resume.
It does. He's also in the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, because he plays the unforgettable character of prosecutor at trial.
Weirdly, you said unforgettable. I just forgot. What was the character again?
He was that one prosecutor that Matt Murdock went up against in court in that one
Right, okay.
Because we all
right.
remember that movie well enough to remember the courtroom scenes in it.
Uh-huh, yes. God.
That's actually, as I think back on that movie, I know he was a lawyer in it, but I don't remember any courtroom scenes particularly in that movie.
I remember seeing Jennifer Garner's face in the rain. That's what I remember.
I mean, it's unfortunately, it is a lot of the stupid stuff that I am, that playground matrixy fight that he and Derek.
Oh,
boy, boy.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a victim of 2002 filmmaking right there.
That's also a victim of just not a good Daredevil movie. And I'm
no,
sorry.
and I remember, yeah. There was a time at the time I was like, well, that's almost right, because they did do some stuff from the comics, and I was like, I'm desperate.
That's the whole thing, is that a lot of fans, now that we're in a golden age of comic movies, but there's always been for comics fans beggars can't be choosers. This is what I get.
I remember liking it kind of at the time, but thinking it was flawed, but like, well, they obviously read some of the comics. And then at the time just going like, I guess I'll put a poster on my wall. I had a Ben Affleck Daredevil poster on my wall because
wow.
But I had everything. I had Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, just because I was like, it's anything, man. They're doing
did you ever make the posters kiss? It's okay, man. It's okay.
I do still to this day have Hugh Jackman, of course, on the as Wolverine on the wall. But
I'll let it go.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will have to check with the judges and see if they'll let it go.
Let's see though. Subspecies 3. I think what was at the time meant to be the conclusion of the trilogy, because there is 4 years before we get to Subspecies 4. So I think this was meant to be some kind of a conclusion, but obviously they
sort of, but again, just like a lot of serialized monster movies do, they leave that open at the end.
Oh, of course.
Oh, he's coming back.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, sorry. I just clicked on, we'll get to Bloodstorm, which is the 4th one.
We will,
but yeah. So
don't jump the gun.
We start with, as a lot of these do, previously on Subspecies.
This is literally a previously on Subspecies. This is
it's
Melanie Shatner. What's her character name?
Her character's name is Becky.
Becky, right, the sister. She's like going, I came to Bucharest to save my sister, who is turning into a vampire.
It has the same flow as, like, in each generation, a slayer is born. It felt very much like the prologue to Buffy, the way it was put together and the images and the way they fade across. It's very network TV of the mid-90s.
That's actually very true. Yes.
Yeah, this whole thing and all the flashes of stuff. But the evil Radu won't let her go, and you do get, I mean, I was watching this going, between this and the opening titles, this is an 81-minute movie, and they kill 5 minutes at the top with this previously on and the opening titles.
Yes, I know. Jesus. And that makes it all the more startling and impressive.
Yeah.
That what is left for original content for this movie still feels like the Baton Death March. It is so sloggy.
There's like an
boring
hour and 12 minutes of actual narrative in this movie, and it is still too long.
So boring.
I know. I kept checking the time and going like, how is there still 40 minutes left in this thing? Jesus. Because it just kept, I don't know. Yeah, so we start, of course, last we left them, Becky had escaped from the vampires, but Michelle was grabbed by Radu's decayed corpse of a witch mother.
Yep. Witch Mom.
Coming
to Netflix.
Yeah.
Witch Mom.
Yeah.
And her makeup is pretty good. I mean, I think...
you know what? Her makeup is pretty good as long as she doesn't move or speak. Like, just in still image, it's not bad. But as soon as you start to see anything move on it, you're like, oh, boy.
There's a weird thing that the actress is doing where, I mean, vocally, she's all in too. She's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, this woman will kill you. But
If anything, actually, I would have been like, maybe calm that performance down.
but she's kind of moving as if she's
Oh
aware
my
that
God,
there's
I know this woman who plays
personally.
not personally, but who plays the Pamela Gordon plays the witch mom in this, and she's a character actress in a lot of stuff.
Yes, but what I was saying is
That's too
she
bad.
moves almost as if she's one of like a puppet effect, but that is not the case. There's a woman in there, but she's still like bobbing and her head's bobbling like she's
Yeah.
a bobblehead figure. And I'm like, is that to make up for the fact that the makeup itself is kind of static and you're just, I'll move my head a lot. It just looks really weird when she's doing some of these scenes. Like, I told you what it would happen if you, and I'm like, what are you
she's
doing?
in Weird Science. Sorry, I was still doing I was still going down her thing. She's the kid that's not Anthony Michael Hall in Weird Science. She's his mother in that movie. This woman who plays the and I immediately know her from because I just know this show backwards and forwards. Freaks and Geeks. She's in the Halloween episode, and she's just the angry old woman who's like, "What do you want?" When they ring the doorbell, they're like, "Trick or treat." It's like, ugh, you need
Very nice.
Yeah. Anyway, she played a lot of like surly older ladies and stuff. So I'm just surprised that I recognize this woman when I see who it is.
Well, now that I know that you know her,
Yeah.
we should get her on the show.
Well, she died in 2003, so that's tough.
But not impossible.
Not impossible. She probably looks about like she does in this movie right now. She was in a lot of TV of the 80s and 90s. So
Right. Of
yeah.
course.
Anyway, but still, yeah, and she's all in, man. And I do feel like the people in makeup have that. I mean, you always kind of have that ability in makeup, but it does feel like her and Anders Hove are like, whatever, man. They can't see us in the Subspecies movie, so
Yeah, that's kind of it. It's sort of like, oh, nice. I'm only embarrassed if people recognize the name.
I think I would be. I'd be in a Full Moon Entertainment movie if I was in total prosthetics. I'd just be like, sure, man. That's not gonna
but I
damage
would
the old
also
career.
want, to have like a pseudonym or something.
Yeah, you don't know, but no, you don't know who I am. No, but
Was
yeah,
I in a Full Moon film? I don't know. You tell me.
yeah. Good luck proving it.
Good luck proving it.
So she's upset because at this point Radu is seemingly dead, right? And this is where immediately she's talking about he's cursed by his love for you, and I'm going, whoa! I just saw that last movie, and that's not the case.
Right.
It's insane that these movies are made together, and this is retconning the previous movie.
Pretty much. Though I guess she's believing that Radu is currently deceased because of her. But as far as love for her, boy, that you can't read that into the previous movie.
No,
at
you
all.
can't. And I will say, if there's one thing I've learned from this franchise, Radu is never dead. Ever.
No,
under
he's
any
really
circumstances. We will never get rid of this guy. No matter how much we want to.
The whole thing with Becky outside the castle is so... I mean, where we left off was literally her outside the door going, I'll wait here until night falls.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sister backs up and is abducted by Witch Mom.
Mm-hmm.
And Becky just gets in her car.
Well, Becky drives to the pub from American Werewolf in London.
Yeah. Oh my God, where they have literal... It's not just like accents, but this is a rural kind of pub, but they have sheepskin tablecloths.
Yep.
As in furry tablecloths. Talk about... That's just not good.
No.
Talk about having to clean that.
No.
You spill a beer on that? Jesus.
Yeah, good
They
luck.
have
Just
furry
toss
tabletops.
it. Just toss
Furry.
it, man. You're not cleaning that.
No, you're not.
Good Lord. Yeah, I know. It is just like the production design, you guys. Come on, man. The production... I feel like the production design in these movies is either doing too much or too little at all points.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you're just going, you're either overthinking or way underthinking. Because once we get into the castle stuff, it's just like, it's like a castle. So anyway, the witch woman cuts open Michelle's wrists and fills a goblet with blood, and then somehow that brings Radu back to life.
Well, she like feeds him that blood.
Yeah, and of course she has to lick a knife because that's the image this franchise is fucking obsessed with.
Oh, and of course, Radu has still yet to discover. I understand he's what, centuries old?
Yeah.
But he hasn't, and he knows about trains. He knows about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But he has not discovered a napkin.
No.
He doesn't know that concept because Lord knows he's still drooling blood every scene.
That's my Radu impression.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
For half a second, I was getting a little worried.
Oh no, Radu's coming. Yeah, you can hear him coming by the sound of him drooling. Excuse me as I wipe my mouth. Oh, never mind. It did nothing.
This is my look. People expect Radu to be a little messy. I'm a messy eater.
Yeah, come on.
Jesus.
I love the idea of Radu's like just being like, "Oh, come on, you guys."
We watch too much What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah,
you
Radu,
almost want Radu.
I want Radu on that show, man.
Yeah, to be turned into a comedic direction.
Well, because I'll tell you one thing,
you can't take him serious.
No, because throughout the whole movie, I just go, do they think I find this guy scary even remotely? Or even let's take scary off the table, because of course not. Intimidating, powerful in any way. I mean, particularly in this one, Radu does fucking nothing in this movie.
He does fucking nothing. Well, actually, they
does
all do
anyone? I mean,
nothing.
well, I was just going here. Finally, folks, here's a movie with absolutely no narrative propulsion at all. There are no stakes. There is no real ticking clock. They kind of like half-heartedly try. Everybody's just kind of running around. You're just going like, what does any of it matter?
All it is, the entire movie, is we still have to prepare you. What's her name? Michelle? Our main...
Yeah, Michelle is the main character.
Yeah, we need to prepare you to be Radu's bride forever and a vampire lady. Oh, I don't want to kill people. Oh, but you will. Okay, so that's still going on. Then it's Becky Ben,
are you talking about the last movie? You are, and you're talking about this movie.
Absolutely. And this also has Becky and the guy from the U.S. Embassy,
Mel.
who is, as far as I know,
how you doing, Mel? I'm Mel.
An animated tennis shop mannequin. And I
think even saying animated is being. I think he might just be a mannequin.
The entire movie is them
boring.
going, we have to save her from Radu and convince the cops that vampires exist. We have to go attack them in the castle. Let's go during the day. Oh, that didn't work. Oh no, now it's night. Oh, here they come. Oh, now it's day again. We're okay. That's the movie.
I've never seen a movie that has so much, we're going to do this tomorrow. Like, there's so much, there's no immediacy to anything. Everything is just like, everyone is just waiting around to do something.
Yes. And I don't want to jump gun too much, but God bless the world's least important and most wasted character of all time.
Is it Bob?
Bob, who gets this great, or not great, but he gets this entrance where it's like, oh shit, stuff just got real. Here's Bob.
You mean a guy who's literally just wearing guns?
Yeah, with a do-it-yourself sew-on like patch on his beret.
Who is this guy? Do we even get? I didn't even follow who this guy was.
Well, the cop guy goes, I've met you before. He goes, CIA? I'm like, what? Because he looks paramilitary, like he's a mercenary or something. But he goes, CIA? And he's like, maybe. But regardless, he's the world's biggest badass who dies within 2 minutes in the most stupid... Anyway, we're not there yet.
I do like that. I will just say, I like that guy's IMDb photo is him as Bob in that beret.
Nice. Well, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, it's just like... and also, I will say, looking at his IMDb, a frequent fixture of Full Moon Entertainment.
Oh, good.
He's in a lot of their... Because he's definitely in Mandroid, and he's in their Invisible Man knockoff as well.
Wow.
Invisible: The Chronicles of Benjamin Knight.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So let's get into the plot in quotes. Let's see. So yeah, she gets to that bar. Becky calls Mel. As I'm gonna keep calling. How you doing? I'm Mel.
It is a ridiculous name for this person and this face.
I still stand by their like fingers crossed. Maybe we can get Gibson. I don't think so, or at least a look-alike. She calls. We then cut to Lieutenant Marin. Oh, our favorite character. Boy, if you liked him in the last movie, there's a lot more Lieutenant Marin in this movie. And
I think he's actually Romanian, but his accent sounds so Italian occasionally, which could just be I don't have an ear for the Romanian accent.
He is indeed Romanian. Ion Haydick is this actor. A guy whose career is almost exclusively Full Moon Entertainment Productions.
There you go.
Oh,
but
my
there's
God.
a lot to his performance. It sounds like, I don't know whether the vampire is coming or not. I'm like, wow.
He is. I think the accent is Romanian, but he is. How is he in Subspecies 4? He definitely dies in this. Anyway. Yeah, I guess not. He's like,
maybe he's playing another character, or is he
no,
Marin?
he's Marin in that, and he's just like, now I'm in the wheelchair. Now I like because they kind of dropped the thing from the last movie where he's into TV detectives, put him in a wheelchair and go, now I study Ironside.
They should have, but they didn't.
No, I just love the inconsistency between this and the second movie, and they were written and shot together.
I know.
How are you
know.
Failing to keep continuity? That's insane. Shows the incompetence. Made by the same people. Anyway, they go down into the catacombs or whatever. I guess that's what this is. I will say I have a hard time following where things. This one's simpler because they get to the castle and they're there. But we had this problem last time. We couldn't figure out. There appear to be some kind of catacomb things under the city that are different than the castle. But
which mom did not live in the castle? Which mom was in the underground?
Right.
And apparently the castle is not in Bucharest because remember Radu had to get on the train.
Right. Right.
But in this movie,
but he was going back and forth in the last movie pretty easily.
Yeah. In other words, I don't know. Did Michelle just get off at the very next stop? Is it really only 5 minutes away or something? I have no idea.
No, it's very tough. Yeah.
Becky and Mel basically spend a lot of this movie like we have to track them to where and Radu even says our sanctuary, and you're like, well, let's not pretend like it's hard to find them. They are in the Vladislav Castle, which was introduced in the last movie. They talk about it. Well, it wasn't introduced.
They all saw them. They literally went in that castle and saw Radu.
I know, going, please get out of my house. Sorry about that.
That was so fucking fun. Just them going, like, and they're like, oh, yeah, sorry to bother you, Mr. Radu.
Oh, my God.
That's like a Dracula movie where he's like, hey, what are you doing in my castle? They're like, oh, we'll just get out of here, man. Sorry, Dracula. We'll just leave you be. No reason to start a plot.
We didn't know it was your castle. It's called Castle Dracula. Just didn't know.
Never mind. And yeah, there's no attempt to do. I mean, Dracula, of course, would famously, as we know, bid you welcome.
Oh my God, and ask you to leave a little of the happiness you bring.
And who was it? Count Yorga is the ultimate host. He'll have you over for the whole night and serve drinks.
Oh my God,
that guy! He'll talk your ear off.
You know what he does? He puts on a spread.
He really does. He puts out a nice charcuterie plate, and yeah.
While he's sitting there in his swanky velvet smoking jacket.
Count if I have to spend an evening with a vampire, I'm going Count Yorga. I think that's
I am.
Yorga,
I think he's probably also a great raconteur, probably telling great stories, especially of the 60s.
So there I was with Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin. Anyway, yeah. You were at Woodstock, Yorga? All right.
We don't want to talk about this.
I don't remember much, but yeah. So they go into then they find the dead body of the professor from the last movie. This poor guy who just gets to show up and be a corpse in this one.
Yeah, and he's not looking very good.
Oh, and the whole movie now is much like the last movie. It's just, can't you see a vampire did this? And the police attendant being like, no, 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 no.
This goes on the entire movie. I think at the
By
very
Subspecies
end, right before he
3.
gets killed, I mean, it's like, so do you believe us now? I don't know what Becky says that, and he's like, I don't know. And then he calls for backup.
By Subspecies 3, let's start the movie with the assumption there are vampires. Let's get going here.
Yeah,
I think Mel is starting to come around to the idea, because
Mel is pretty much immediately on board.
Well, yeah, they're vampires, sure.
You know what cracked me up in this movie? I mean, I know he is supposed to be like, I am a government official type.
Yeah.
But he's boned Becky.
Yeah.
And he knows the mission. He knows it's to rescue Becky's sister.
Yeah.
But every time he talks to Michelle, he calls her Miss whatever her last name is.
Oh, yeah, he does. Even though it's like, yeah, I was literally inside your sister last night.
Yeah,
but...
he could say, Michelle, I'm a friend of Becky.
Oh, you know what I love?
But
They don't even list the last name.
Miss Harris or whatever her name is.
Yeah, exactly,
You're like, dude, just call her Michelle.
Yeah. So they go there.
You're practically a member of the family
so they,
now.
This is insane, because this is where, so they're like, but we can't find anyone else in the underground here. But of course, Becky's wandering around and she hears the evil witch laughter. Yeah. And then we get to, oh my God, now they have teleportation powers. Jesus. What is this? When they start doing this, they're all like shaking and vibrating, and then a bunch of smoke appears and they disappear so that they get, I love that by the third movie they're like, how about they just poof to a castle somewhere? You know,
they really do just poof. And they also do the thing which we talked about in the last movie, where they really are so fond of shadow effects.
Oh my God.
But in this one, they go even farther, because instead of just in the one before, they literally just used high-powered spotlights and then people doing shadow puppets on the side of buildings.
Here, I mean, you know how it is, Brendan. It's a sequel, man. You got to go bigger.
Yeah, here they animate the shadows, and they look look like whenever Superman takes flight in the old serials. Because it's something where it's so obviously animation in a real frame that it's jarring and terrible.
No, it's like, dude, how? It's another thing where I'm like, once you get that footage back, don't you go, you know what? Just don't put that in the movie.
Yeah, it should have been like, yeah, that was good in concept, but that does not
We tried
work.
something here, and let's not. And also, don't we have some footage we can reuse on the last movie of shadows on buildings? We shot a ton of that shit, so yeah. Oh my God, this movie.
But yes, here they do the poof.
They poof. I mean, lots of smoke. So much smoke appears that they're like, oh, get the fire brigade.
Yes.
And they're like, man, if anyone was in there, they're not now. Jesus. And so then, once again, in this classic fashion, it's just like, oh, well, we better just go back to the hotel. Why? That's not a way to make a movie go from scene to scene.
No, it's not.
And then we get, and Mel doesn't mind this, Becky
and
going,
here's the thing.
Yeah.
From the beginning of this movie, I keep driving this point home.
Yeah.
There is no mystery about where they will go, where they will stay. And so if
they're only ever in two places.
Yeah, this should happen over the course of one night and the next day. Instead, it's like a whole week of them trying to plot this stuff. The next day, just go to the fucking castle when it's bright daylight.
And this isn't even the next scene where they do go to the castle is the funniest. Then go back, I think, of the movie when the entrance is just blocked and they're like, well, I guess we got to go home then.
Yep.
What? But no. So they go back to the hotel, and Mal is he goes, I'll drop you off here, and Becky's like, no, I don't want to be alone, and Mel's like, well, don't mind if I do.
Now, the thing I love is the voice you're doing is based on the name Mel. Sounds absolutely nothing like this guy who's just like, okay, Becky.
But mine as well. This is how I'm hearing him is, I'm Mel. Okay, Becky.
Well, he has no personality, so it's an acceptable name.
Yeah, that's right. Let's bone down. Because and then of course though, but then she's not. as soon as they start to get hot and heavy here, she starts having, as I wrote, monster flashbacks.
Yeah. Basically, not only has Radu ruined her sister, it's apparently Radu has ruined her groove, has taken her groove away.
Goddamn Radu.
Because she's trying to get all sassy, but she's having PTSD of the previous movie.
She is, and now Mel.
That's a bucket of cold water.
Mel swears his vengeance, right? And Radu has cock-blocked me for the last time.
Yes. We should say, speaking of this being a full moon film, at the very beginning of the movie, and I hope they paid her well, Melanie Shatner runs out of the castle to the car, and she's got blood on her dress from the previous movie.
Ew.
And she changes right out there in the open with clothes out of the trunk of the car.
That
so
was
naked Melanie Shatner, and I'm like, Jesus.
Well, but like much like the shower scene in the last one, I feel like a very negotiated naked.
Probably.
The camera's at a pretty good distance. She's like it's mostly her back, but she's turned slightly. I feel like all of this feels like negotiated. I am willing to show this much.
Yeah, it was kind of from a distance and side boobish. So, yeah.
Because later we're just going to tear a woman's
man.
shirt open later when Radu brings a woman back. You know, it's like, it's sort of a thing where it is like, yeah, that's as much as I'm willing to give Charles Band. But yeah, I did just go, well, this is pretty insane that she just strips down and puts a coat on. Because then for a lot of this, she's just running around with just this coat on.
Yeah, like when she gets back into town, and again, I don't know why she isn't taking advantage of the broad daylight, but I guess she does know that witch mom is not affected by light.
Oh, well, she'll yell that later.
Yeah, witch mom's not affected by light. Actual dialogue from the movie.
It is.
But yeah, you're right. She is just we clearly know she's not wearing any underwear, so she's running around in this coat for a little bit, just like and it is a big coat.
Yeah.
But still, like, Melanie, I'd probably go back to your room real quick. You probably have luggage.
Mm-hmm.
And talk to people.
And we've well established no one is in any hurry in this movie. So
no. Absolutely.
So Radu, meanwhile, has just dropped a metal cage around Michelle back at the castle. Mm-hmm. And this is where he has grabbed a woman from town. And before I drink her blood, let me tear her blouse open, of course.
Yeah,
because it's a full.
So the whole thing is he's using this to because obviously, Michelle is still a newbie vampire, but she's trying to be good and not kill people. And Radu is like going, "You're hungry, ain't you? Look at this. I'm eating right in front of you. Oh, I'm biting into this lady's neck. Oh, ain't you hungry?
Oh, here's a tasty morsel.
Yeah, here, have some of this." And she does.
Oh, that's an excellent vintage.
By the way, how many times in this movie, speaking of repeated dialogue, and it's not comfortable at all anytime he says it, but when the cage comes down and she's just sitting there going, "What?" He's like going, "Bow before your master."
Yeah.
He says that about 3 times.
Well, we also get...
Or kneel before your master, or whatever.
Kneel before Zod, though, is who the only person I kneel before is Zod. We know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one day, your heirs.
Yeah. And one day, your ears.
Which with his accent always sounds like one day your ass. Yeah. Which makes me laugh and laugh.
This movie could use some Terrence Stamp energy for sure.
You know what?
But thank God that he's not involved. Because
dodged many bullets.
Yeah, that man is amazing. But we also just get this same scene where he's like, "Oh, drink, come on."
Yeah, it's the same thing.
He started turning Schwarzenegger there. I know that when he was like, "Come on,
come on."
Yeah, but no, it is like, "Don't you want a drink? You. Oh, it's so tasty. You want to do it? You know."
She will drink when it's offered to her, but she is still reluctant.
But this is one of like 4 scenes that are exactly like this in the movie.
Yes,
and I'm just going, none of this there's tension or anything here. And then we do get a creepy scene where she lays down to go to sleep, and he lays down next to her like, "My precious beauty."
Oh,
and he's caressing her with those fake fucking
with
fingers.
The fingies. This is not good.
Yeah. She goes, you know what?
I'm not a fan.
You know what? We avoid any HR trouble because no part of Anders Hove is actually touching her. It's just this prosthetic finger.
It's just the fingers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'm down for it.
Let my fingies caress you. So let's see. I do not understand why it is on Becky and Mel to inform this professor's wife that he's been killed. Why does it come down to them to tell her?
I don't know.
Lieutenant Marine doesn't. They go, well, yeah, your husband is dead, and
Lieutenant,
it's kind of our fault.
In fact, you're with the police.
Yeah.
And this would be your job.
You know what? Just for fun, how about you two civilians just inform a family member that someone's been murdered?
Yes, because nothing's better than a couple of foreigners coming to your door and going, yeah, he's dead.
Well, it's sort of a thing where it's like, yeah, he's dead, and it's kind of our fault, right?
Yeah.
Well, they also say when we were here the other day, and I go, I don't remember this guy having a wife in the last movie, but yet they're going like, remember us?
Oh, that's right.
I don't think she was in the last one though.
She may have been. She may have
Briefly.
brought them tea or something and left the room.
It may have been something like that. I'm gonna to give them the mildest credit of Full Moon Entertainment. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that happened, and I forgot because why wouldn't I? But
you're being so generous.
I
today.
know, so
That's
generous.
very nice.
But I do like Mal going. I think I left some papers in your husband's office. Can I go get them? And then immediately goes in there, steals the guy's journal, and then grabs like the battle axe and the metal like spears, and like these just in the room next door. You don't hear this guy clanging around in there going, "Can't find those papers."
Still looking, and your husband's still dead. Sorry, still looking.
He jams this journal down his pants, and then chucks the weapons out the window. Like, yeah, we'll just pick those up on the way out. And they do. And nothing comes of these weapons, but they're lugging them around the whole movie.
That's right. Yeah,
and they don't
when
use them.
Go full assault. They're using just the guns that Bob brought.
Which is insane.
The guns that Bob brought.
I love that book. The Guns That Bob Brought to you by PBS. It is like the amount of each of these movies has just gone, this is what kills vampires now. Okay, sure. We'll talk about silver bullets later. I'm not nuts about silver bullets killing vampires, but
me either.
So let's see. So they grab the weapons in the journal, and then the cops, the police roll up on Radu's castle, and they're like, we need someone to come down here and open the gate. Hello? I guess no one's coming. Yeah, I guess no one's there. Oh, well. And
I see your lights on.
They are stymied by a closed gate. That shuts down the investigation.
I don't know why you have a problem with this. It makes perfect sense.
What?
How are you gonna get in, buddy?
Well, because I like they're going like, well, we can't tear down the gate until we get written permission from the what's the word I'm looking for? Oh God, historical department or whatever.
Oh
right,
right, yes,
the historical monuments division or whatever. And
because
he goes,
that is a national treasure.
Yeah, and I just like the idea of him going like, that could take anywhere from 2 months to 2 years, really, man. It's who knows.
Yeah,
so,
he actually says,
anyway,
it's gonna take a while.
It's like, dude, for a police lieutenant, you are really not worried about these murders.
No, but also he still doesn't believe in vampires.
He still doesn't, but you would think he knows people are dead, and the answers possibly lie in that castle. So you'd think he'd be a little bit more like, yeah, we got to get in there.
Yeah, but apparently
he's
not.
just like, what are you gonna do? Red tape? Like this guy's a terrible cop. There's no
He
scene.
is.
Where's the scene where he's going like, you don't understand, Chief. We have to get in there.
I'm not a violent person, but I gotta say, he deserves what he gets.
And they do see the witch woman in the window just peering down at them going, can't get past the gate.
Yeah.
I also love the idea of monsters relying on red tape to save them, going, oh, we'd be in real trouble if they could legally take down that gate, but they can't touch us.
Zoning laws prohibit you from being in front of our castle. Go away.
Boy, talk about what we do in the shadows kind of stuff. That would be on there. There's no like force. I mean, the thing they could have done is they try to go in and like a force field holds them back. I mean, we're dipping into like pseudo fantasy magic shit in this. Why not?
Especially since you've got a witch mom.
A witch who could put some kind of protection spell on it, or it's invisible. They go out there and there is no castle or something.
Ooh,
I don't know.
That's heady.
Well, I'm just pitching anything, and both of those are still pretty cheap, Full Moon. But to literally just have, because then when Becky and Mel roll up, they're just going. The cops are like, no, gates up, can't do anything.
I do love the scenes that we have in this movie of Becky and Mel standing outside the castle and looking up at the windows. They're like, oh, there's Radu.
Yeah.
there's the witch mom for that scene, and then later there's like Radu is in the window, and they're like, yeah, oh, I can see him. And then later in the movie, she's shouting like, Michelle, are you in there? Michelle, it's your sister Becky. They are literally like neighborhood kids.
Yeah.
Can they come out to play?
Yeah. Can you just send Michelle out?
Could you send Michelle out? I don't want to get through your gate here because I mean,
Becky will spend the vast majority of the both acts 2 and 3 of this movie, and I'm generous even saying it has acts.
Oh, acts! Wow.
Yeah. Like the last 2/3 of the movie, Becky will just be standing outside the castle, worried. Basically,
yes, that's it.
Basically, it's insane. I'm just going like, because she can't scale the wall, and she's just
and that's
like,
what I'm saying.
Oh,
it's
nothing
the same
I can do.
Expression she has on her face for the entire movie.
Because it's almost like, what is she supposed to do? There's literally nothing else to play. Like I said, I can only get on Melanie Shatner so much when I'm sure it's just like, look more concerned. I'm putting this on Ted Nicolau, the visionary behind the Subspecies franchise.
Give it up.
He's the
Ted Nicolau.
So they go, well, we know another way around. And then Mel does pull out, he's got a little purse gun here, which I did think, oh, very cool. He's like, don't worry, baby. I got us covered.
It is so weird, the accent you're giving. Hey, don't worry about it. I got him. You're making him sound like Sheldon Leonard. And this guy looks like the blandest college guy.
It's how I'm hearing him though. He just has no tone, and he's just like, I got a little 22 here. Anyone gets on our way, pow pow.
Out you two pixies go through the door, through the window.
It's me, Mel from the embassy.
He does in one part speak Romanian.
He does.
Because he is supposed to be like from the embassy.
And
I was impressed that he did a little bit of that.
You know that guy sweated over those lines like nobody's business
doubt.
too. I mean, I can't blame him. I would too. I'm sure that's written out phonetically, and he's like, oh boy, I got to say this confidently. I've learned 4 words or whatever in Romanian, and I better, Jesus. All right, so they go, well, we know another way in. And then Lieutenant Marin follows them into this tunnel, but oh no, the entrance is blocked, so let's all go home. And it's are you kidding me? I thought, because man, I guess it was my mistake, but I thought, okay, at least here we go. We're gonna get into the castle now. Nope.
Well, they
somehow they knew we'd come through here. They said
in when they're watching it back in the editing bays, they realized, oh shit, it's been 4 or 5 minutes since they've shown up at the castle and can't get in. We need another of those scenes.
I mean, literally, my note just says, entrance is blocked. They'll try again tomorrow.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Which, that gives Radu and company and Michelle time for, let's go grab somebody else off the street.
Yeah. God, I couldn't believe this. Yeah. No, and just so they can do the same scene again. Now they go to a restaurant.
Yep.
Or whatever, where people are playing music, and this guy sees Michelle, and he gets led away, and then she's like, no, I can't do it. So Radu's like, oh, for the love of God, and he bites the guy.
Yeah.
And then we get this woman who pulls up in a car, and she's like, hey, what's going on? And Radu grabs her and we'll
Yep.
we'll be holding her back in this dungeon. It's not even a dungeon; it's just a metal cell in the middle of their main castle room. Like
she
the throne room.
survives.
She does. In fact, I love how Mel the whole time he's holding her hand through the climax of the movie.
I thought it was
going,
hilarious.
We don't even know who
because
this
at
woman
the end,
is.
It's a group of 4 making their way out, and it's the 2 sisters. But Becky had hooked up with Mel, and so you're like, why aren't they holding hands? Instead, Mel. We never even get this woman's name.
Nope.
Mel, but they were kept in a cage together, though. Mel and this lady did spend time in a cage together.
Listen, sorry, baby. The time I was in the cage, I met somebody. We have a real special connection, both being the prisoners
we
of
have
vampires.
an open relationship, right?
Yeah.
So then he's literally just pulling her along at the end, and I just have to deal with it.
And then we also get so many of these scenes where the witch mom is just like, "No, you have to kill her. She's your weakness."
Yeah.
And I don't know, she's Peter Lorre all of a sudden too.
The thing is, you don't know where the black bird is, Mr. Spade.
I mean, I will say that it's interesting we bring that up just because this lacks the fun of even like those cheesy Corman movies that like Vincent Price and Peter Lorre are in. There isn't even that camp value to this, though.
I would have prefaced this whole thing at the beginning by saying this film, it does commit the worst sin. The worst sin is being boring.
Yeah.
Bad movies we both enjoy.
Totally.
If they are bad in an enjoyable way, if they are full tilt bonkers, if they are misfires in an interesting way, great. This is so boring.
We've recommended
nothing here.
We've recommended plenty of objectively bad movies on the show, but just going, oh, what a good time, what a midnight movie, what a, that kind of thing.
This is not even fun with your drunken friends to make fun because there's nothing going on. You can't play off.
The first Subspecies kind of is. The sequels, though.
Yes, the first one has some stuff.
Yeah, the sequels though are just. They're just getting lazier. And I thought this would be of the same. Somehow this is a step down from 2. And I thought, 2's bad, 3 will just be the same level of bad. This is somehow worse.
This one's not introducing anything. The one before at least introduced Witch Mom.
Yeah.
It had him like breaking the skeleton of his brother to pieces with his big fingies.
Yeah.
This has
that's
got
true.
Nothing. There's nothing.
No,
except Bob. And we're not even to Bob yet. Bob's not around long enough.
No, and that's a bummer because I agree. When Bob showed up, I'm like, oh, here we go. A new nut job character for this movie.
Yeah, and not good, but still something different. And I'm down for like a mercenary dude.
And then we get the most minor ticking clock thing where Radu is drinking Michelle's blood and going, oh, yes, you are almost a full vampire. Soon you will sever your humanity, whatever.
Also, at one point, because again, she's trying not to be a killer vampire. So at one point, she actually says to Radu, look, just let me drink from the bloodstone. And he goes, no, it's too powerful. You can't handle it. If you drank it, you'd lose your mind. We saw her drink from the goddamn bloodstone in the previous movie.
We did. Yep.
And I'm so mad.
Yep.
Stick to your own goddamn rules.
Well, that's the thing I said. I can't believe the inconsistency between movies that were shot at the same time.
Maybe they had 2 different teams of writers.
No, it's all Ted Nicolau.
All right.
It's all based on an original idea by Charles Band. I will say all the Charles Band kind of, I imagine, has sort of a Garth Marenghi kind of quality because this all feels very Garth Marenghi to me. In that way, and especially the based on an original idea reminds me of one of my favorite things, which is just in the credits of Dark Place where it says music by whoever based on melodies originally whistled by Garth Marenghi. Except
for Garth Marenghi has that built-in ego, which is of course hilarious. In the case of Charles Band is just a schlockmeister,
but he's not even
I'm sure he wants his name on it, but he doesn't give a shit about any of this.
That's true. But the thing is, with him as a schlockmeister, he doesn't have He's not Corman or something like that, where it's like, what's it to you? I mean, that was always the thing I liked
All
about
you
Corman.
can count on is the neon lighting and boobs.
It did.
And
It always.
Charles
I mean, it
Band.
almost feels like the problem with Charles Band is kind of an ego thing, where it's like, no, these are serious movies with built-in mythos, Whereas that's the kind of stuff where it's like Corman would just go, "Is it cheap? I'll do it."
No, Band's the same way.
He is, but
Literally.
there, or at least people working for him, there is something. These have a lofty opinion of themselves because they're self-serious in a way that I don't like.
He is like Corman in the fact that he's putting his name on everything, and if Ted Nicolau is taking this shit seriously, then Charles Band has no problem with Ted Nicolau taking it seriously.
That's probably the case.
But Charles Band does not give a shit.
No, that's probably true. I think it probably is Nicolau, where it is I'm building this
Charles
mythos.
Band is very much like Lloyd Kaufman over at Troma.
Oh, that was the other guy I was trying to think of. Yeah, Lloyd Kaufman also has, and I love his attitude.
Yeah.
I don't love his movies. I actually would much rather watch Corman than Kaufman, but because I think Kaufman's a little over the top for me.
There's the occasional Troma, but man, I can't sit there and spend time with Fart the movie.
There's an outrageousness and a purposeful level of bad taste that does kind of grate on me over at Troma. That with Corman there is sort of a like, well, we're doing genre-y stuff that's campy, but we're not just. I mean, it's still trash.
Yes,
but it's not out to go like, whoa, you didn't think we'd do that, But yeah, I'm just looking, and of course Nicolau will give us Vampire Journals, which I think is even more because that's going to fill in a lot of mythos and backstory, I guess. So.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Well,
mythos and backstory.
I don't. Yeah, you're right. It's probably Nicolau, but what I'm saying is someone's taking this shit too seriously, and it's making these movies boring.
Yeah,
because you're just going like, Radu could be hilarious if he was campier, but instead they want me to think of him as a serious character.
Yeah, but if you're wanting to actually make him like a horror icon and do a serious badass vampire movie, you just need to be smarter and better.
Yeah.
I don't think you need Radu's backstory, the Bloodstone itself, all that could have turned into a good movie if you had some competency as a writer.
It's not even with a low budget, you could have done some atmospheric, creepy stuff. I mean, I think the first one is terrible, but it's so weird that I'm talking up the first movie now. But it is starting to go like there seemed to be some attempt to try to make something with that first movie, even if it's bad.
John, this has been recorded now. Yeah. People can actually bring this back up to you later as proof of where you went down a hole. People will be like going, yeah, it was around this time you started talking up the first Subspecies.
Yeah. It was, but I'm saying like there was a kernel of an idea there, and now it's so... Nobody gives a shit.
No. It is, like I said, it is doing the worst thing you can do, and that's be boring.
Yep. So meanwhile, Mel is reading from the journal of the professor going, King Vladislav found the castle and lived there, and then Radu betrayed him. And I'm just going like, we know all this, man. Come on, movie.
I mean, granted, the audiences of the day might need a refresher, but we just saw that movie like 3 weeks ago.
I did find it very funny that while he's reading this, she starts making out with him, as if this is getting him hot.
Wait, say again, what did Vladislav do then? Oh yeah.
Baby, come on, talk about the Bloodstone some more.
Talk about how he hooked up with that witch lady.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's the stuff, man. just come on, just say Radu for me.
What's the point? She's just gonna freak out again if they start getting hot
and then I mean, but this, you talk about them setting up them having like a real relationship. Is the implication is I can't right now, but I definitely want to continue having sex with you. And they're pretty quickly in this committed relationship that also doesn't, even from the last movie, kind of happened out of nowhere, because it's like, you're the male lead, I'm the female lead. Let's get together.
And look, at this point, because this is two films, we're forgetting that this is a collapsed time frame.
Yes.
She has only been in Bucharest for less than a week.
Well, this movie begins at the exact moment the other one ended.
Yeah. So she has been in Bucharest for a week. She has known Mel for about 4 days.
Yep. And she's in love with him, and they're in love.
I mean, isn't that the way it should happen?
I mean, but
let's not be cynics, John.
There are movies that make me forget about that because of chemistry, right? Where I just go like, okay, well, whatever. Like, I can buy that Kathleen Turner fell in love with Michael Douglas and Romancing the Stone in a couple days because it works, Here, I'm just going, these are boring characters.
And you've got Billy Ocean music. So,
well, I mean, come on, yeah. I mean, they were romancing the stone, so
they really were.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see here. What's Radu up to? Oh, we get this scene once again. This is the self-serious shit I'm talking about, where they're up on the castle watching the sun come up, and he's like, "We should go inside. The sun, it hurts us."
Oh, Jesus Christ! She asks some, I guess, for the audience, questions where. I mean, I know she hasn't been a vampire long, but she's like, "Can the sun really kill us?" And he's like, "Fuck yeah, it can." And then
this is my favorite line in the movie.
Yeah, and then they're like, she's like, "I want to stay and watch the sunrise," and he goes, "Okay, well, right up till it starts hurting."
No, my favorite line in the movie is actually, she goes, "Can the sun really kill us?" He goes, "Yes," and she says, "What else can kill us?" And he goes, "Lots of things."
Yeah, that was good.
That's the best. I'm like, are you kidding me? The movie's just like, I don't know.
That's
too many
right.
dimensions.
I almost forgot that he literally just answers it with
lots of things. That's literally in the movie, and I'm going, oh my god! It's even the fucking writing is lazy, man. It's like it doesn't matter.
Even if the screenwriter, even if Ted Nicolau, for his contributions for script writing, let's say that maybe he got $10,000 to direct.
Yeah.
Let's say he got $5,000 to write the script.
Yeah.
Do you know what I could do with $5,000?
Oh my god, I know. This is a common refrain over on the action shelf too. Lisman and I going, do you have any idea what we could do with the budgets of these movies or anything like that? I mean,
I'm just talking about just lifestyle wise. I mean, I could just coast on $5,000 for quite a while, and I'm sitting there going, Jesus Christ! In my sleep, I could write something better than lots of things.
That's the thing. That's the thing that gets me about these is like, and maybe we haven't been in the full moon machine. Who knows? Maybe you do get cynical, but I do feel like at the very least, I would really try to write some interesting dialogue, right? Like,
yes,
I always talk about that. That's a common refrain over in the action shelf as well. I'm sure I've said it here. Writing's free. There's no budget to what you type.
Yep.
Type good shit.
Yep.
Like
and if you're
these movies don't have to be bad. Production-wise, I get it. But the scripts don't have to be this bad.
No, and especially if you know you're going to a film that will not be able to deliver on huge effects stuff, writing will save you.
Yes.
I have seen very good intellectual, low-budget horror films where a lot is implied and characters have interesting discussions. They are interesting personalities. You want to spend time with them so you don't even quite notice you didn't get to see anyone transform into a bat or whatever. It's like you could do a cheap horror movie with Radu where it's based on character and dialogue.
Well, and also with this scene, I'm going, wait a minute, what are we supposed to think of? Is Radu supposed to be a tragic figure? Like in this movie, all of a sudden he's supposed to be
trying to do that.
But but he's such a fucking villain at the same time. They want to have it both ways, right? They want him to be deliciously evil supervillain. And
they've clearly introduced the witch mom for various reasons, but one reason they've introduced her is to be more of the offshoot obvious villain, which would allow Radu to soften a little bit. But she's the one that's constantly haranguing him about, you must rise to the throne and be a blah blah blah, and he's like, but I love this lady.
I mean, one of the biggest mistakes was killing off the good vampire, right? Like that would have created a whole dynamic of having a good vampire and an evil vampire. So now they have to go, we have to take the bad vampire and create a character worse than him so that there's any conflict in these scenes.
Yep.
Oh, lame. Can I just say that's my across the board review for all these? Subspecies, lame. These movies are lame.
I like Elliot, but Elliot has a lot to answer for.
Elliot knew what they were doing, though, and they laugh every time I tell them we watched another Subspecies movie. At this, Mel calls up his friend, and at this point goes, "Turn off your tape recorder," and this is off the record. So I'm going, oh, he's calling his reporter friend. I don't realize that this is Bob, our at least guy who claims to work for the CIA. I think is more like.
I guess the whole thing with this is because basically we don't know how to get into the castle. We just can't get in.
Yeah.
And now, like, I know a guy. And again, if they wanted to turn this into a real showcase for here comes this new character, but all this is like,
man.
I'll contact
I thought, oh, here we go. He's gonna be huge in this. We're gonna get a Bob spinoff.
Yeah,
Bob the Monster Hunter or whatever,
Bob meets Becky and Mel and Marin outside the castle.
First we have this scene where, and this is where he speaks Romanian or whatever, because when they go out after they call Bob, they go outside and Mel's like, "Hey, what's all the hubbub?" Even I can't take it. And he goes, "What's all the hubbub?" And Merlin is there because Merlin is apparently the only cop that responds to anything.
Yeah.
And he's just going, "Oh well, yeah, they're yelling about people in the town have disappeared. It's I don't know, that woman disappeared, right?" This
is the 20th century version of the angry villagers who know that some monster is taking people. And
except because it's full moon, there's only a couple villagers and they're not that angry.
And also, this is just dumb. But then again, I will say, I've read a lot of this stuff and watched a lot of these movies, but it's hilarious to me that you have the American embassy guy who does speak Romanian, and he goes, "What is that word they're saying? Strigoi," and he goes, "Strigoi! It means vampire."
And then once again, here we got Becky going, see, do you believe me now? He's like, no, there's no vampires.
Yeah, she goes, they're saying vampire, and he goes, yeah, but that's they're just superstitious idiots.
I say a lot of shit.
Who apparently are my friends and neighbors.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna call them superstitious idiots.
I do like that. Everyone in this town's so dumb, though.
Pretty much is what he's saying. Yeah.
God, more about the vampire. It seems like Marin is now the only guy who doesn't believe vampires in the whole movie at this point.
He's the holdout. Everyone else is like, no, seriously, vampires.
What about that guy down the street with fangs? Oh, please.
What about the legends that go back centuries about Castle Vladislav, which is literally hanging right over our city? No.
Stupid. Oh, my God. So they go, all right, but I'll go with you to the castle, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Marin is just, there's so many times where he's like, this is silly, but I guess I'll go.
He's just sort of leaning into, well, there may be crime stuff related, and I am a cop.
Let's see where this takes us. Meanwhile, these Americans just running around. And then, they get out there and enter Bob. And he comes up and he has 3 machine guns hanging around his neck. I'm going, and also the guns in this movie are crazy because he has like World War II era machine guns. Why?
Because they're prop department. That's it. It's just like
everybody is shooting guns from the 30s and 40s in this movie, and I'm just going, that's so weird.
But I mean, we're making a lot out of it because it's nice that this character shows up, but Bob does not have any real personality. In fact, he kind of just stares at them for a minute
other than at a certain point you start to go, I think Bob's insane.
Yeah, but basically he comes in and goes, I can get you over that wall, and here are guns for everybody full of silver bullets.
6 silver bullets for everybody is what he says.
Yeah, and he goes, you owe me, I got, what was it? He borrowed a cross from somebody.
From his
$500,
neighbor, and he melted it down. And they go, $500. Like, I talked it down from $750. And I just want to know what this guy's deal is. Why is he in Bucharest? How does he know Mel? And this is Michael De La Femina is this guy's name.
He is CIA.
I guess.
Black guy. Black Ops.
He's Black Ops, man.
You could tell from that badge that looks like it came out of a gumball machine.
I'm looking at his career going, it's mostly bullshit like this. And then in 2002, he's in City by the Sea with Robert De Niro and Frances McDormand.
Nice.
And I'm just going like, wait a minute, it's like total garbage. And then he did sneak his way into a small part in a legitimate movie.
Does he actually have a name, his character?
He plays Angelo LaMarca in it.
Oh.
I mean,
wow,
so he's got
I am impressed.
I know.
I thought it would have been like Traffic Cop number 2.
But he was also in Mandroid. So, oh, God. And he was in an episode of, this is bad for a couple reasons, Cosby. Not The Cosby Show.
Yeah.
Cosby.
Yeah. You have to imagine that around the craft service table, that because we know, her interest, Frances McDormand has to have sat there and just grilled him about, tell me everything about Mandroid. You just know that she was like, I have to know.
Joel and I were watching Mandroid again.
Joel and I were watching Mandroid.
And he's just, is there any way you could introduce him to Charles Band? He's a big fan. He and Ethan both are big Full Moon fans.
No, this is what a wonderful dream.
Frances McDormand, a woman who thought Darkman was too B movie for her.
I love the concept of her even being aware of something called Mandroid. That to me is comedy gold.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Do you think that's a good point? Do you think Frances McDormand has even heard of Mandroid?
No.
It's never crossed her mind.
And this actor, if he came up to her at like a restaurant that they just happened to be at the same time, he would probably have to spend 10 minutes explaining that they had been in a film together.
One of my favorite things, and they talked about this over on the Blank Check podcast, when the Coens and Sam Raimi shared a house, and Frances McDormand, they would talk about Joel. They were just going out, and Joel was wooing her by reading Shakespeare to her in the evenings. And they talk about literally Raimi and Campbell are in the other room reading comics and going, wouldn't it be cool if a hand came to life and you had to cut it off your body? Oh, yeah.
I actually do want, in total seriousness, I think it would be great to either have a movie or like a limited streaming series that was like a biopic of those people as young people. Like it's so the Coens and the Raimis, and I want
Bruce
to
Campbell,
see
Holly
them.
Hunter
Holly
lived there
Hunter,
too.
yeah, I mean
Kathy Bates, I think, lived there for a while as well.
Oh man, I want to watch this.
Yeah, and you're just going like all these interesting people who are, but they're all nerds of a different stripe. Because you've got the fucking comic book horror nerds and Raimi and Campbell who are just going yeah. Once again, it's and then Joel Coen is trying to woo Frances McDormand by reading sonnets by Shakespeare, and they're going, man, did you read the new Captain America?
Jeez, it's so great.
I love it, man. And of course, obviously, Shakespeare's great and all, but I think we fall more in the Raimi and Campbell camp.
Yeah, no, I've read pretty much all of the Shakespeare, and I like it.
But Frances McDormand, we love the movie, but she is kind of like, yeah, I did Darkman because I thought I should be in a movie like that at some point, but I did not like that experience. It's all the special effects, all the stuff. She goes, Sam didn't care about getting deep into character. It was all about aesthetics and.
Holly avoided that genre entirely.
Yeah. Yeah, well, she's in Batman v Superman.
Oh.
Lest we forget.
Is she the one that explodes?
She does.
I think I heard about that. Again, haven't watched it.
She's also, she's the one that, she gets all the creepy scenes with Lex Luthor as the senator that he's trying to.
Oh, good.
He doesn't put a piece of candy in her mouth, though. He does that to another senator.
Oh, God. All right, moving on.
One of the weirdest scenes in anything. So let's see. Yeah. So Bob's like, yeah, man, we're gonna scale the side of. He also has brought a zip up. What did they say? Like light proof body bag. Because that's how they're gonna get Michelle out of there. Although then I think it takes them too long to remember they have this later.
Because they run for about 80 minutes in broad daylight with her going, ow, ow, ow.
And then eventually they go,
oh, you know what? We should put her in that bag that we brought.
Specifically asked, because they asked Bob to bring these things. And Bob even has like, what are you guys doing? Hunting vampires? And there's this awkward beat. He goes, oh, oh, I guess we are. And once again, I don't know who this guy is at all, but I like the idea that he's like, okay, cool, we're hunting vampires then.
What was he thinking when they asked him to bring silver bullets?
Yeah, he brought silver bullets. He brought the bag. He brought the rope.
And the silver bullets are
Did he bring
in
something
like
else?
these old rifles, these old shotguns or machine guns.
They're machine guns. But here's the other thing too, and you know, I am a stickler for the gun stuff in movies, but
I know you are.
But okay, so he says he brought 6 bullets for each of them, right?
Yeah,
six silver bullets for each gun. Yet Michelle will shoot 12 rounds into Radu. Now, not that the gun doesn't have 12 rounds, because I actually did check the magazine capacity on that, and it no, that's right. But why? But because he gets hit with all of them, they kill him. That would imply that all 12 were silver, right?
Yes.
But so that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. They don't care. But I could only assume that bullets will pierce a vampire, and that's on top of the fact that the first 6 were silver.
Yeah,
and that's not going to kill him. But I don't agree with silver bullets killing a vampire. But I'm sure silver hurts them a lot. So yeah, I think it's just that's what drove me crazy about the end of this thing is I'm like, when he goes down and they run out, I'm like, you guys aren't done.
Yeah.
He's down. Perfect time to stake him and chop his fucking head off, dudes. Oh, man.
Yeah, because she shoots him with a Tokarov, which is which is a Russian firearm. And that now I'm assuming they're using the 15-round box magazine, not the standard 8-round.
John, this movie does not deserve any of this.
But once again, it's an old, like, well out of use gun at this point. Of course, is the weird thing about it. Obviously,
I mean, they looked kind of outdated. But again, this is just what Charles Band had in the prop trunk. It was probably a prop trunk.
Probably
like,
that he probably got on wholesale. Yeah, he probably got on wholesale clearance from some place that did do a World War II movie or something.
He's like, oh, great. Like, yeah, no, we can use those.
We're just selling this shit off.
And he's sitting there going, who in the audience is going to know? And then little John Campbell lifts his hand up.
And goes, that's a Tokarov TT-33. That they've got specifically. And I will say, thanks to the folks over at the IMFDB, that's the Internet Movie Firearms Database, for supplying me with some of that information.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Maybe they can sponsor us.
Do you guys sponsor stuff? Actually, Action Shelf would be a better place. I'm always talking about guns over there.
Yeah, that's true.
We only sometimes talk about guns.
That's another one going out to our friends at IMFB. What is it?
IMFDB, Internet Movie Firearms Database.
There we go. Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I use that all the time to go, no, wait, because I frequently am checking on magazine capacity in Action Shelf movies. This one, I said, that's not my problem. I'm just going, yeah, and also the inconsistency of what the silver bullets do, because they don't actually kill. We'll get to it. And they have no effect.
He gets shot full of holes is the whole thing. He just gets shot full of holes.
And then he's just stumbling about.
Yeah, he goes stumbling about, and then he falls down, and they think he's dead.
So Bob climbs, he scales the side of the wall, and Becky's like, you can do that? He goes, no, he does that. And then Bob lowers down a rope. Now, why couldn't Becky climb the rope? Because she's just like, I can't.
Look, man, maybe just like me in gym class. It's tough.
It is, but it just seems like it is tough. But once again, from a screenwriting standpoint, they're like, let's just leave Becky here in this field outside the castle for the rest of the movie, basically.
They split up. The only two that get into the castle.
Well, that's fine if Becky did anything.
Are the alpha dudes, and then you got Marin and Becky on the ground, so they can be stalked.
I couldn't believe this. Yeah, Bob and they come in. They see the witch lady. Bob just fucking opens up right on her.
Well, okay, here's the thing. So Bob, yes, comes in ablazing.
He's a shoot first, ask questions later guy.
And then she uses the Shiwan Khan method.
She sure does.
telekinetically controlled dagger.
That is about as close to something I like in this movie. I don't.
And she,
it's not great, but I like the idea at least.
She sends it right into Bob's brain.
Yep.
Bob was in the movie for 3 minutes.
For a solid end-to-end 3 minutes.
Yeah.
He's in and out.
So the badass who is like a merc and has come prepared is there only to scale a wall and open fire on a witch lady and die.
Making the inclusion of him almost pointless.
Pretty much.
Yeah, other than he brought guns. He's basically just there to bring supplies. And then he dies.
They could have had Mel. They could have had Mel say, "Before I worked in the embassy, I was a Marine."
Yeah,
they could have done that and saved.
Or even I had a friend of mine give me these, and he opens up the trunk, and you could still even imply a bomb.
And I used to shoot stuff, so I know how to use these. I mean, you don't have to have a whole character if you're going to off them that quick.
But let me ask you this: why don't the bullets affect this witch lady?
Because she's a witch lady, not a vampire.
I know, but as far as I'm aware, bullets could kill a witch. She's ill-defined is my point.
She's very ill-defined.
She's a witch lady, but what she is exactly, a witch is just a person who casts spells and stuff.
Yes.
If you shoot a witch
clearly
and
got
things, they'll
some
die.
immortal thing going
or at least
on.
get hurt.
She probably signed some pact with the
But they don't
devil.
even ever take the impact of the bullets. They just... what if she... Once again, too much money, I know, but like if she had actually like held out her hand and the bullets didn't hit her is the implication.
Oh yeah, no. What are you, Rockefeller? That's never gonna happen.
But I mean, you could have even done. I'm not even. I'm talking about literally a handout and a sound effect would have done it for me. If it had just been like, pew, and that's it. I don't even need a visual, man. It just made no sense. Also, I'm still mad about Bob dying.
I know.
I was ready for Bob to just kick ass, man.
Bob went out like a punk.
He did. Well, the other thing I thought too, he just stands there and lets that dagger. He doesn't even try to dodge it or anything.
Well, it did move pretty fast.
It didn't move that fast. We track it through space as it moves there. All right, so let's see. Oh, and then I do love after Bob dies. Then Mel lights up with his machine gun going, "You just saw it not work."
I know.
And he's like, "Maybe mine will."
Which also means he has wasted all of his silver bullets on the witch lady, who apparently is not affected by it.
All that's left is in the Makarov, which I guess Becky has?
Maybe. I don't know from the guns. But I know she's got a gun.
She's got
with
the
her.
handgun. Let me say that they took the machine gun. She has the handgun. And and Marin also gets one of the machine guns, so he doesn't do anything with it.
Right,
but he does.
He
have
doesn't
the other
do
one.
much down there. He's basically in the bushes, and then he gets attacked by Radu
and dies. Although maybe not because he's in the next movie. So yeah,
Radu. What does he do? Does he like? Does he impale him, or does he use the knife? Oh, he
knives him. Yeah.
It's so weird to see a vampire who is all about teeth and claws using an implement. It's just like when Dracula, when we talked about that one Christopher Lee movie where he used a sword on a guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's weird.
It is weird. I could see a vampire using a sword in defense because I do like Dracula sword fighting, but more that somebody comes at him with a sword and he is blocking it more so than that I could get. But talk about a knife fight here. We're gonna get first we do get my favorite note I wrote down, and I like this is how much I was not enjoying this is how much I was not enjoying the movie is how tickled I was by the fact that I wrote Mel in a cell. Because Mel does wake up in the cell. Meanwhile, they heard
with the gal from the car that got abducted.
I am village girl is basically her character.
Yeah,
right?
literally. I don't think she ever does. She have a line of dialogue?
I don't know if she has a line of dialogue. We definitely never learn her name.
Yeah.
Because let's see. Oh yeah, I think this is Woman in Car.
There you go.
Woman in Car. Rodica Horobit, Woman in Car.
Well, it's an appropriate name.
Yeah, I think she's just a local.
Oh,
she's a Romanian theater actress.
But she is a final girl.
Kind of, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird that she makes it through this movie.
I know.
It's
because
bizarre.
she seems almost completely set up to die.
I don't even quite understand why Radu brought her back to the castle.
Yeah, isn't she just food?
Well, yeah, because they kill the guy, and then she stops. Once again, we talked about this in the car, and then he comes up and grabs her, and I thought that was implication that he just then killed her. But then we see her here, and you're like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
And they've got her and Mel, and they're there, and the witch woman is going, oh, Witch Mom is upset because Radu has gifted Michelle with this family heirloom necklace thing or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
And she's like, take that off. What I like is that if you really boil it down, this is just a tense family drama about a mother who doesn't care for the woman her son wants to marry.
She actually does say, I think, at one point to Michelle, you're not good enough for my boy.
You're not good enough for my Radu.
He deserves better.
Look at it, it's just so skinny, no childbearing hips.
Do you even know how to cook?
I want vampire grandchildren. I want to be
I want to be a grandpa.
Come on. My other son is dead. This is the last chance.
It is true, man. Well, actually, that's
she
not
was gonna,
his son. Remember, they were half brothers.
Oh, that's true. That's
She's
why
Radu's
she was,
mom.
That's
not
right.
Stefan's
That's why she was happy that guy died.
Yeah, she didn't give a shit about Stefan.
Oh, forgive me for forgetting the mythos of Subspecies. It's so well defined.
It really is.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah,
really
and this is the final straw because she goes to stab her because of this. The witch mom goes to stab Michelle, and Radu's not having it, so he just fucking tears her arm off.
I know.
Which is cool in concept, but once again, lame in execution.
Yeah.
It's just because he just rips her arm off, and then it's like, it really does feel like he's like, oh, well, I've gone this far. I might as well just take the head off. It feels
like he's like, there's no backing out now, so I may as well go ahead and kill her.
Yeah. And so he rips her head off.
Pulls her fucking head off.
And I like, once again, she's this like decayed corpse, so there's no blood or anything. It's like pulling a mummy's head off, and there's just dust and stuff.
And she's still talking.
Yeah. And still screeching like the mother we're talking about. Oh, Radu, you're such a naughty boy.
And he tosses the head in the fire, and her last words as the head goes up in flames is, I curse you forever.
And he's like, oh, I've heard that before.
He's like, same song. Heard it before.
Oh, look out, another curse. You're always cursing people. Ugh.
Yes, but this is forever.
Ma, come on. So anyway, yeah, now she's dead. That's great. Oh, I love this because it feels like a note for people like us. They have Marin go to his car to call for backup, but the radio doesn't work. It's almost like it's going, see, that's why he couldn't call in more people.
There you go. They thought this through.
That is them actually. As you know, and I may have mentioned on here before, I did write a very low budget horror movie that never did get finished filming. But there was a thing in that where they had a rule where I couldn't put police in it. It was going to be too expensive to have cop characters in it, they said. So I just kept having people go, shouldn't we call the police? And I would have somebody go, they'll never believe us. That was the thing about that. No way, the cops will never believe us. And then just keep going. But that was me, going like...
That was the best you could do.
I mean, for that movie was a mess. That was a whole experience. Anyway, and it never got finished, which I'm kind of bummed. I did actually want to see it. I was detached enough that I would have been curious to see it. I also never got paid because I had a deferred payment contract should the movie turn profit. I knew I wasn't going to see money.
That's all right.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, that doesn't work. Let's see. Mel,
everybody's in the castle.
This is Michelle. Right? No, Becky's still outside.
Oh, Becky is still outside.
But Michelle sees Mel in the cell. Mel in the cell this fall on CBS.
Oh, right. And this is where he tries to. He
goes. Hey, I'm from the embassy. Oh, I'm from the embassy, baby.
I know Becky. I know your sister.
I'm Becky. I'm kind of Becky's boyfriend.
Yeah, but he's still calling her Miss whatever.
Yeah, but he goes, I'm here from the embassy. I'm here to help you. And I just love the idea of we're in a castle surrounded by vampires, and it's like, oh, thank God someone from the embassy is here.
Yeah.
It's like, you're in a cage, you dumb fuck.
But this whole time, she's still looking at him like, okay, that may be true, but I might be willing to kill you and drink your blood.
Mhm.
Because this whole time, she's like, yeah, whatever. And like looking at the woman,
And
looking
she's
at
go-
him like,
she's
I
going
am
to-
very hungry.
She's going to maybe do that when all of a sudden the walkie-talkie crackles and it's Becky going, it's me, your sister Michelle. I'm here.
Oh my God.
Don't worry.
And then we get to see Radu pick up the walkie-talkie with his fingies. Holy shit,
We
man.
get to see him pick it up with his fingies and hurl it against a wall.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate
magic talking box.
I hate modern technology.
What is this napkin you speak of?
I wanted Radu to pick it up and talk into it, going like, she is mine now.
Yeah,
That would have been kind of cool. It also would have been
Yeah.
funny to see him push the talk button with that big thumb.
Yeah, I know. It would just be, I think, the nail. He would have to use those
Hold
big
on.
fucking
Wait a
nails.
minute. You gotta help me with this. Where do I?
Hello, is this Becky? Hey,
Oh,
hey, yes, your sister's here, but she's too busy to talk right now. Can I take a message?
It's funny because I have no intention of taking message. He's doing the thing where
Radu for the win.
he's pretending to write in the air, going, "Aha, got it. Yes, I'll tell her." I like our Radu better than the movie one. He's way more
man.
fun. He's way more fun.
He is. He's fun. I would hang with that Radu.
Radu is just no fun. He should be fun.
This isn't.
It's
good.
weird. As over the top as he is, he's never fun.
No, he's not.
And
big
so
enough.
she says, "Okay, well, what can I do that you'll spare my sister's life?" He's like, "Well, that's a good question." He's like, "I'll spare your sister's life if you promise me absolute devotion." I wrote that down because that is what he asked for. Absolute devotion. And
This is one of those things like, okay, all right, I will spare your loved ones if you stay with me forever as my vampire bride.
yeah. That's it exactly. And I really wanted Mel to go, does this apply to sister's boyfriends too?
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe village girls probably shit out of luck, but maybe maybe I could get out of here. I don't care. I'm committing to the Mel voice.
It's just a weird choice for Mel
Mel.
because he's so ridiculously white bland guy.
That's
He's
right.
just like,
yeah.
golly, I'm from the embassy.
No,
Hi,
he is.
How's it going?
I was gonna bring that. We haven't used this term in a while. Is he a Freddy?
Oh shit.
We have talked about this.
Well, no, because usually the Freddy is like there's the obvious thing they're pushing.
I feel
as
like we
in
need
the
a
more
new term
romantic
for
or
these
whatever.
guys, though. These are your...
I can't see being the one that's tempting
No.
her away.
No, that's why we need a new term for these guys because there's a bland kind of these guys
Yeah.
these are your Jonathan Harker types and stuff like that
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they are the quote unquote heroes but they have no personality.
Typical bland dude.
These
Yeah,
guys. I don't know. We'll be thinking on that, but I feel like they always have to put these guys in. There are so few like horror male heroes that I give a shit about.
Yeah.
I think people talk about. I was watching one of those '80s horror documentaries I'm always watching. I think they were talking about the Evil Dead specifically, going like, "This is the first time you have like a male hero in one of these things who has personality, attitude, is badass. He's
It's
not
true.
just the boyfriend. He starts as
well,
that.
he's also the final boy.
That's the thing exactly. Talk about he kind of broke the mold of the horror hero in that sense because he is sort of the final guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
if he had not had a personality, we would not be talking about Evil Dead right now.
No, exactly. It's all thanks to Bruce Campbell, folks.
Basically, everything good in the world.
And that doesn't
comes
count. That
from
doesn't
him.
have any of the classic monsters, so we'll never talk about those. Maybe as a bonus thing. Okay, so let's see. So she has to stay. He'll spare the sister once again. Oh, she goes outside. That's what it is. She appears outside, and Becky's like, Michelle.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, Becky, you're going to be safe, but I have to stay here and live with Radu.
And she also does the she says, don't stand so close to me. She starts singing the police song.
Don't stand.
But Becky's not having it, because basically the sister's saying, you can't trust me. I might actually drain you of blood. And instead, Becky's like, I don't care. Come in for this hug.
And I'm going, Jesus, isn't this the climax of the last movie too?
Yep.
And I do like, we pan up to the castle. There's Radu looking out a window going, yes.
Yeah, and then we get the song from Rocky Horror where he's doing the riff-raff. Darkness must fall.
I wish, man. I just needed anything like that in this movie.
Yeah.
Any
it doesn't
kind of
have
personality, any kind of clever, fun beat. But what he does see is Marin is down there, because Marin sees him up in the window, is like, wait a minute, and he aims his gun up like, I might just take out this son of a bitch right now. But then, of course, by the time he so slowly lifts this gun, Radu is gone, and then right behind him, that scared me. No, of course not. No,
okay,
there's nothing even coming.
You're a really good actor, John. For a second, I believed your fear.
Thank you.
I believed your fear.
You know, I have some training.
Okay, that's great.
By that I mean I took some class and always went, this is bullshit. But
you took some classes from Gene Cousineau.
Gene Cousineau, my mentor, Gene Cousineau. He has a terrible reputation though.
Oh, good Lord, would I rather be watching Barry?
Oh God. Well, yeah. You talk about another thing. I could use some Henry Winkler energy anywhere. Yeah. That man is a treasure.
Yeah.
So anyway, he stabs Marin, and then he appears behind Becky. And then this is where, Becky pulls a piece on him and goes, pal, this gun's full of silver bullets. You're letting me, my sister, my dolt of a boyfriend, we're all getting out of here.
And I guess that other woman? Okay, fine, yeah.
What if Radu had been like, what about the village girl I took? Yeah, okay, yeah, her too, I guess. This is actually my favorite Anders Hove, legitimately my favorite Anders Hove bait, because she goes, do you understand? And he's like, perfectly.
Yeah, that actually was a good take.
I'm like, oh, good. Well, I don't think, because once again, I don't think Anders Hove is a bad actor, but it's just like, how do you give a good Radu performance? You know what I mean? Like
that was weirdly like they allowed him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to do a little bit of a cheeky comedy take on this, go right ahead, and he does.
And once again, like it makes you go
perfectly. Oh, I get it. Yeah, silver bullets.
It makes you go, why couldn't he have more moments like this? He'd be a lot more fun.
Yeah.
He's capable of it. Because I did love.
This series is not about fun, John. No. This is about terror.
Well, This was also something
and really sloppy eating.
This was something I thought about with all the blood dripping and the decayed mother. I'm going, it is unpleasant. It's never scary, but I'll give them unpleasant. It's like not nice to look at. I'm not scared, but I'm just going like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. Like him always dripping blood from his mouth doesn't chill me to the bone. It just makes me go, oh God. Come on, Radu. Somebody get him a napkin. Somebody get this guy a wet wipe.
He really needs a wet wipe.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
I know. I just want to get in there and go, let me just get that. There we go. God. Oh. Once again, Radu. Ladies and gentlemen, Radu. Oh. It might go.
He looks like a guy who had gone to, and I have been to these before, like barbecue cook-offs or chili cook-offs.
Yeah.
And if they have some sort of eating competition where it's like, how many ribs can you eat in like 10 minutes? He's the winner.
Yep.
And that's exactly what it's like. Every scene is after he walked off the stage.
Don't you love
from the rib eating contest.
Him dropping the last rib bone on the plate and like raising his hands up like, yes, I've done it.
Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce dripping off his chin in every scene.
He's licking it off of each of those long fingers. Come on, everybody, Radu.
Give it up for the Rad Master.
Rad Master in the house. They start selling the foam fingers, but they're much longer than normal foam fingers. with Radu. Anyway, it's so dumb. So they go in there, and he unlatches the cell and releases Mel and the village lady, and then he
But
goes.
not the village people. They stayed behind.
No, because they were under the mistaken impression this was the YMCA, which is where they wanted to stay. Because they said it'd be fun. So they, but I do like that once everybody's free, Radu's just like, okay, Michelle, now kill everybody. I know you're going to. This is where it turns around, and you're total Team Radu now. But of course
she's
she
like,
isn't.
Yeah, okay, fine. But instead,
she turns to Becky and says, "Just shoot me right now. Kill me.
Yeah,
Becky.
kill me. Go ahead and because don't allow me to live in eternal torment."
This is one of I'm gonna say 10 scenes between these last two movies where Michelle begs to die. It just keeps happening.
And one was even before she became a vampire. That was so dark.
That was her.
Obviously,
her own,
she has problems.
That was her own demons, man.
Mm-hmm.
Becky, Michelle, there is no Radu. What? Now that would have been a twist I could get on board with. This has all been in her head. What?
So instead, what she does is, Becky's like, I can't.
And so Michelle grabs the gun from her. She's gonna shoot herself in the
head,
which would kill a vampire, I guess, in this world. Is they shot themselves in the head with a silver bullet, I guess. Yeah. But instead, Radu's being such a shit that she just turns around and shoots him and empties the fucking gun into him. Not quite.
She does.
Not quite, because once again, 15-round mag, she shoots him 12 times. But
still.
Oh
my god! And then at one point, he puts his hand up.
Oh, and she shoots through his hand. Well, they do have him. He gets shot. They love whatever this device they've made that can pump blood out his face. Because remember, he got stabbed there in the last movie. He gets shot here now in this. They love this effect.
It seems that since Michelle was also the one who gave him that wound in the previous movie, is she just always going for somewhere in the forehead area or the cheek area?
Yeah, she seems
to be a.
She hits him like right under the eye, like right next to the nose. That seems to be a spot. And he's like, oh! And I will say, Anders Hove always makes a meal out of these, like, oh!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the shot through the hand, I think that's where most of the budget went. They're like, oh, it looks so cool. And then they're just like, all right, let's go. And they run at it. The fact that she just like shoots him 12, I had to count it because I was trying to count the thing. She shoots him 12 times.
But again, like I said, and then they run away.
Yeah. The last movie, if you recall, they stabbed him in the face, then staked him in the heart. Good.
Yeah.
Here, it's just like, yeah. But then they act so scared like he's pursuing them, but he's basically just bleeding out and kind of hobbling at them.
This goes on for so long.
Mm-hmm.
This stupid escape from the castle thing where they're like, oh my God, is it another floor? Yeah, another floor. And they always will stop by the balcony. I don't know, that's not what it's called.
Yeah.
But whatever. And they look over like, oh boy, we still got a ways to go. And then they look up, oh no, he's still following us. And it's just Radu on the floor above them, looking down, looking very ill and going, and is it Michelle or Becky who grabbed the bloodstone? One of them has it.
I think it's it's Michelle. Or no, sorry, it's Becky because she's gonna throw it here.
Yeah. But also we also have Michelle because the sun is also coming up. Mm-hmm. And we have Michelle already going, ow, I'm totally dying here. Ow.
Oh, God, yeah.
And Radu is also like, shit, it's getting kind of hot. But, yes, this is the sort of badass thing.
It's getting a little toasty out here.
Yeah, and she's like, is this what you want, huh? Is this it right here, the bloodstone? This is what you're after?
Like, yeah.
Go get it.
Yeah.
And she tosses it over the castle wall, and Radu goes, no, and jumps after it just as I guess the sun's really up
because he starts melting.
He starts catching on fire, so he falls as a burning thing,
only to then be impaled on a tree.
It is one of those overkill scenes. It's kind of funny. Like, it's not enough that the guy gets shot, he's then hit by a bus. In this case, he's already on fire, burning as he falls, and then he falls on top of like a gate thing where he gets punctured. He's dead. And
but it did feel like
fire.
It did feel. This is where I thought at first I'm going, oh, they're really going to try to end this trilogy because it did feel like. As final, it won't be, of course, but it did feel like, okay, they're really making a point to really off this guy.
Yeah. So, because he is impaled and on fire.
Yeah,
And
I feel like this is pretty fucking permanent. I'm not sure there's anything of him left. Oh, but there will be.
well, hold
Oh.
on. First, we also see, I guess everyone's okay upstairs, but they're putting Michelle in that.
Yeah, they finally
sunproof
remember
body
they
bag,
brought that specifically to do this.
and they're hauling her down.
Yeah.
How is she doing, by the way? I mean, do we get the impression that she's freed from vampirism at the end? Because I don't think we really know.
I don't know. I will only say that from the IMDb photos for Bloodstone, but it should be called Bloodstone, not Subspecies. Subspecies 4, there's a photo of them unzipping her in the body bag. So I'm guessing, even though it's shot 4 years later, 4 will also begin at the exact moment this ends.
Oh, I can't wait to find out what happens.
And Melanie Shatner doesn't come back, so somebody else is playing Becky in that one. So.
I can't wait to find out who plays Becky. But regardless, they cut.
Yeah,
back
we're gonna. You know, I'm more of a Melanie Shatner Becky fan.
Her
take on the.
I understand that. I can see it.
I love the idea that which Becky do you prefer?
Sarah Chalk.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I love Sarah Chalk, but I do really like Leslie Goranson.
I like her too. I like both Beckys, but Sarah Chalk was the one I had the crush on. So that is what it was.
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, well, she also had the benefit of being the adult Becky, to be fair. Like,
yes, and then she went on to Scrubs. And
which, I mean, that's the thing. I particularly love her on Scrubs.
Yes.
But as somebody who still watches The Connors, Leslie Goranson's great on there.
Look how we veered away again.
I'll always end up talking about some old sitcom.
But we cut back to Radu's corpse on the
because
thing.
I like she's in the bag. They just get in this car and they're gone.
Yep. And his biomatter slops off the skeleton, the charred skeleton. And wouldn't you know it,
it turns into the fucking subspecies.
Wouldn't you know that his gelatin-like biomatter coalesces into little subspecies guys who look at us almost, scampily going, you didn't think you'd see us.
But you know what I love? They're not in the next movie. This is their final appearance in the franchise.
What? They're not in the next movie?
That makes no sense.
How does Radu come back?
I know, it seems like they're going to be central to Radu's comeback, and yet they do not. This is their final appearance, according to IMDb trivia.
Which is even understand what
we'll see if Nicolau brings them back for 5, if we get the origin of them as well. But yeah, Subspecies 4 Bloodstorm.
Is without subspecies.
There's no subspecies. But don't worry, Anders Hove and Denise Duff are back.
I feel better.
Oh, and wait a minute. The Mel guy doesn't come back. There's a different Mel.
Different Mel?
But then what's weird is he comes back for 5 to play the father.
I guess, you're never really out.
At some point, I just like the idea, at some point, this guy was too good for Subspecies. But then his career fell some more. And
he's just really busy. Come on.
He was so busy. Just him and Melanie Shatner were both so busy to come back.
Yeah, I really can't. I'm sorry. I can't be there. Yeah. It sounds really good, Nikolai. No, I can't do it.
Oh, okay. I just spoiled something that I won't say on here, just looking through.
I
didn't mean to do it, but I was just looking at information about
it's 4 years away, that means we've got plenty of movies before we revisit, right?
But first, I have to ask you a question I know the answer to. Do you recommend people watch Bloodlust Subspecies 3?
Fuck no. In fact, what I would recommend is that they forget they listen to this podcast. I'd recommend they delete it from their feed.
Get this out of here, man. Even I don't. Yeah, I'm sad that we're on the record even talking about this movie. Is a bummer.
It's embarrassing. This will come up next time I go up for a job interview.
You will have to check the box that says "Have seen all subspecies movies."
Yeah, they'll be like, we like that you are a people person. We like that you're a self-starter. You have, however, watched any of the subspecies.
Well,
films.
what I love is this has happened to me a few times now, where people talk about some shitty horror movie, and because of this show, I go, yeah, I've actually seen that and all of its sequels. and you're just going like, oh boy.
But we do have the excuse that we're doing it for a job, and we're both paid very well for this.
Oh, handsomely, yeah.
We should let our listeners know
we're doing this
paid.
From our mansions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good Lord. I can't believe there's still another one of these to watch, and there's still, I think, 2 more Howlings coming up. So.
Well, let's
Howling
not
is
focus
kind of
on that.
Well, no, let's talk. But the Howling will lead us to next week. We're watching a werewolf movie of a very different order.
Oh, it's this one.
That's right. It's finally time to meet Jack, the werewolf. How you doing? Yeah. It's Wolf next week. The very simple.
It's a
Mike
werewolf movie
Nichols Wolf.
It waits a good long while to finally give us werewolves, but it's a real outlier, my friend.
It's
talk about directors and stars and budget. This is a weird one.
By the way, Mike Nichols from I think it's uncredited rewrites of Elaine May rewrote a good chunk of that movie. She's not credited.
Wow.
But I think she knew Mike Nichols, right? No.
Yeah, I think they were vaguely aware of each other.
Yeah. But yeah, I it's been a long time since I've seen it. It certainly is closer in vein, and it kind of I do lump it in, even though it's not an adaptation, with the Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and the Francis Ford Coppola in this attempt to do prestige auteur monster movies of the early 90s, where it's sort of like, when you talk about it takes a while to get to the werewolf, my memory is this is like, no, it's about a werewolf, but this is like a real movie.
Oh no, it is. Yeah. It is doing that. It's trying to use lycanthropy as kind of a, well, weirdly, it's an empowerment thing because it's the old guy who's being overlooked because he's an older guy, but then he gets his alpha maleness back by becoming a werewolf. Okay.
No, I think it's it'll be interesting to see, and I believe we're gonna have our.
So if you've ever wanted to see the lead actor of About Schmidt as a werewolf.
About werewolf.
As if that's what people knew him from.
About Wolf.
Yeah.
About
Wolf.
Very different movie, but still has a naked Kathy Bates in it. Weirdly, no.
Yeah.
But I believe our friend Jerry Chrisman will be joining us to talk about that movie.
Oh, great!
With us. We'll be excited. We'll have a new guest with us. And it's also nice to have one of our friends watch what I remember at least being a good movie.
Yes, I remember it being good, odd. It's odd, but in a good way.
I mean, it's certainly. But we're talking about a huge, like, light years step ahead from this movie. So
yes,
yeah. So there'll be Wolf next week on the show, but that's going to do it for this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Brendan Jones.
And remember, there are such things as monsters.
With very long fingies.